I'm new to security, and but the fact that I've met a few friends here that I hadn't seen in a while lets me know that I think in this industry we all end up here at some point in time. And I think this is the right place to be. This is the right set of problems to be solving around IT security, compliance, and especially risk, which is what I'd like to talk to you guys about today. So just a quick snapshot on who we are. Agilliance is a Mountain View-based company. We're a young venture-backed organization. We were founded by the technical founder of ArcSight, who is also a major force in this particular show, Praveen Kotari. And Praveen was at ArcSight, and as he left ArcSight a few years ago, really was looking to solve for a particular set of problems around IT security. One of them was extending security automation to the C-level. And really the issue there was that a number of customers were basically saying that what they really wanted to do was look at data from the top down. What do I need to manage? How can I see how secure I am? How can I see what's my risk profile? I need something that starts at the executive level and can be pushed down, not necessarily at the device level or at the edge or whatever the case may be. So Praveen's intention in founding the company was really to extend what great companies like ArcSight and a number of others in security automation were doing, and extend it to the C-level. What happened was, as he got out there and we began working with customers, we were solving for about half of the controls that needed to be solved for to get this whole concept of risk and compliance. And what customers asked us to do then was look at the other half of controls, the manual controls, not just the automated controls. So as a result, we put together a solution that encompasses both. It encompasses all the automatic controls, encompasses the manual controls, and all the policy management and key control frameworks in between to make sense out of it. And puts everything through an engine that does all the calculations and ends up with what C-level folks like myself and other senior executives want, which is the risk profile as well as the compliance profile. We're different as an organization because we're really the first to provide that C-level view from a top-down standpoint with regards to risk, security, and compliance. And really, we've tied all three together in this solution. We've been doing very well in the marketplace over the past months and quarters that we've been out there. A number of good customers and partners and whatnot that we've been working with, and the awards the company's won. I think one of the key things that we need to think about is the challenge. The challenge that organizations had in focusing on risk, or perhaps if they don't focus on risk. So this particular study that we're referencing here looked at a bunch of different enterprise companies, and as you can see, what they designated as the leaders were significantly ahead of the people who were in the middle and the people who were behind in this report. The guys, the leaders, if you will, the medium type guys, and then the laggards by a significant amount. Since a lot of you guys are technical or engineers, I was going to say in order of magnitude, but I think for us lay people in this industry, it's really only 10 times. So I think you can see that the leaders are doing something different. What are the other guys not doing? Well, the other guys are not doing a couple things that are important. One of the things that they are not doing is providing visibility of risk to that executive level. Another thing that they're not doing is combining the silos of information, the silos of risk that are happening out in their organizations. They're not combining those into one single view. In many cases, to be compliant, they're looking at actually 3 and 4 different regulatory groups or auditing groups within those companies. I think you guys have seen this type of siloing before. They're not solving for that. So how do you solve for that? Well, you solve for that by creating a process. ITGRC, Governance, Risk, and Compliance, to be done right, creates a process. And really what we have done is create a purpose-built solution that automates this process. A lot of companies have to ask the question, do I even have a process? And most of them do not. Most of them, again, are looking at things in silos. They're getting unreliable results. In many cases, controls that are tested manually get a different result when they're tested in an automated fashion. They don't know what the cycle times are. In many cases, if they use consultants to do risk assessments or whatever the case may be, it may be a half a year to get the job done, or it may be longer, or maybe shorter as the case may be, depending on what has to be tested. But the fact is, an automated process can solve for a number of these issues. They don't even know how much it costs in many cases until they get into it because of the amount of labor that's required. And I think one of the objectives of an automated IT GRC process is build a business resiliency and a process resiliency around IT GRC. The ability to solve for the policy side, the compliance side, and the risk side. So how do we solve this process? Well, if you were to look at this chart left to right, you'll see that the first thing you have to do is target the environment. What we're talking about here are the assets. Basically, what has to come into this process for you to be able to test and see where you are from a standpoint of risk and compliance. So you need to bring the assets in. That's part of this process, and we help automate that. The second area is in terms of identifying the risks. Here, what we're talking about is identifying a set of common controls that can be tested across a number of these assets. In many cases, if you have multiple compliances, as you guys well know, as a company, you may have to test those assets every single time you have a different compliance. What we've done is combine up to somewhere around 29,000 controls and subcontrols. In some cases, as far as 15 subcontrols deep in each control, to allow you to have very high precision in testing those assets against your particular best practices, your policies, or your controls. The next thing you have to do is identify the gaps. You've got to test. And our product does that in two different fashions. We test manually via an e-survey, an automation of the manual self-assessment, where we pull the information off of the non-digital assets and we put it through a set of checks, and then through a compliance and risk assessment engine that results in a set of dashboards and reports that can be used by the C-level. We do the same thing on the automatic side, where we pull from existing solutions that are already out there if the customer has invested in those, such as SIM products or CMDBs or change management tools, scanners, whatever the case may be. We'll accept those, we'll connect to those with a set of connectors, and we'll pull that data through, run it through the same engine, and therefore you get one set of dashboards that looks at both your manual controls as well as your automatic controls. And so this really is a closed loop solution. It's not a linear solution. At each one of these steps, there's attestation, there's testing, and you may go back in and re-look at things at every single one of these steps. But in any case, the whole purpose of what we're doing is to automate this process. I want to spend a couple of minutes to talk about a case study about a customer who had a problem with, in particular, PCI. And what we had to do for them was give them a complete solution, something that wouldn't just stem the tide of an issue. These guys are actually an online gaming company, and if you can't sell your wares via credit card, you're basically out of business. Not to mention the fact that the business was there. So in any case, what they ended up doing was instituting an entire solution around our product. And the solution looks like this. It's built from the ground up in terms of the assets, in terms of the collection of data, in terms of the common control framework and testing, and then the set of tests and, the set of reports and dashboards that are available to that organization, all the way up to the CFO level. In fact, I met with this gentleman a few weeks ago, and he told me that the product was perfect for them because he was able to, in a glance, to look at the digital assets as well as the non-digital assets and the compliance against those. So basically, these guys were able to solve for their set of problems in one fell swoop. And in fact, we've been able to go back to these guys and talk to them about some additional technology that we have in development that extends the IT risk management that comes out of our solution into an enterprise risk play, where you use the same where you use the IT side and feed it into a larger risk profile based on some of the dashboarding and reporting technology that we've come up with. In any case, this is an out-of-the-box solution. It's not a consulting solution. It works out of the box. Everything that I've told you about today is deliverable. One of the reasons that I'm here to talk to you guys is tomorrow we're announcing our version 3.0 of Agilion's IT GRC, and we're very excited about it. It contains everything that we've talked about is available and working today out of the box. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much.